Officials in Colombia are calling it a miracle. Passengers of a Boeing 737 were jolted awake in the small hours of this morning as it came crashing down just short of the runway. The plane splintered into 3 pieces on the island of San Andre. But astonishingly, of the 131 people on board, only 1 was killed. At least 5 Americans were on the flight, and we have an exclusive interview with one of them. Sharon Alfonsi takes us inside the crash.
For many, it was supposed to be the start of a relaxing vacation. A plane full of tourists boarded a 737 in Bogota, headed to beautiful San Andreas Island off the Colombian coast. At least 5 Americans were on board. But moments before the plane landed, something went terribly wrong. It was just before 1:45 in the morning. Passengers were stirred awake by the crew, told they were about to land. The weather had been stormy, but passengers say everything seemed fine, routine. Then suddenly, a thunderous boom and a crash. David and Carolina Bellino were on vacation from Georgia. She spoke to us tonight.
I remember the flight attendant saying, we're ready to land, so please sit up and, get ready for landing. And after that, what I remember is my husband pulling me through the exit door.
Passenger Ricardo Ramirez told a local radio station, "When we fell, we wound up on the pavement, still in the seats." He said he struggled to free himself and his wife from their safety belts because the plane was starting to shoot flames. Investigators say just as the plane was coming in for a landing, it hit short of the runway, skidding on its belly before splitting into 3 pieces. Passengers say they were scattered across the runway.
The wing was covered with fuel, and I was concerned, we'll have an explosion and we'll die. I just started praying, and somebody came, and they put him on those tables until they found a policeman that could brought us to the hospital.
Amazingly, of the 131 passengers on board, only 1 did not survive, a woman who had a heart attack after the crash. The pilot of the plane told investigators that the plane had been struck by lightning. Meteorologists say there is evidence of multiple strikes around the island before the crash, including one strike that hit the east side of the runway just 7 minutes before the plane landed.
Let's get one thing very clear here. Lightning cannot bring an airplane down. We have never seen it happen with one solitary exception that has never been proven, and that was way back in the 60s in jet aviation. It can't explode fuel in the tanks because kerosene isn't explosive other than in a couple of degree ranges, and that wasn't the case here. So lightning doesn't have motive force to knock an airplane apart. The only thing lightning could have possibly done was interfere with the vision of the crew at a critical moment for a very brief period of time. That shouldn't be enough. Or it could have maybe knocked the instruments offline at a critical point in the approach. That's not supposed to happen, but you never can say never. But as far as lightning causing this, wipe that out of your thinking because it simply doesn't happen, and that is not the place to start on this investigation. Wind shear and weather conditions certainly are.
Investigators are looking into weather conditions at the time of the crash, but looking at the plane, considering what could have been, Colombian officials are calling it a miracle. Still, aviation experts credit something else.
When you have struggled for 20 or 30 years, as aviation has, to learn everything possible from otherwise survivable accidents and make seats not collapse and bins not come open and fire-blocking material that prevents fire, you can't look at something like this and say miracle. What you can say is this is the fruit of an awful lot of labor.
Increasingly, many planes, many passengers seem to be surviving crashes that look deadly. In Denver, this 737 caught fire, cracked in half, and amazingly, everyone survived. In Jamaica, this 737 skidded off the end of the runway in the driving rain. The engines sheared off. The jet cracked in 2 places, plowing into a fence and over a road, and no one was killed.
A lot of it is because of design. We've learned a lot over the last 60 or so years while commercial aviation has grown. There's been changes to the seats, the interiors, all to make them more crash-worthy, and obviously it's working.
And while that may make scenes like this all the more common, it doesn't make them any less remarkable.
It's just like a nightmare, but I'm thankful because I'm alive.
For Nightline, I'm Sharon Alfonsi in New York.